H1N1 and what it's doing to our elderly here. And the one who knows, Dr. Arbaje here, who's a frequent guest here on Good Morning Maryland, 9 o'clock. How are you? Did you wash your hands?
I did, right.
You've always told me wash your... Have you seen more people wash their hands and sneeze and cough into their arms more than ever?
Absolutely. This is a good thing. I mean, it's not good to have this going about, but it's at least bringing people to mind the different techniques to stay healthy. So
Absolutely.
That's good.
How much as a doctor do you pay attention to the CDC and the WHO and what they're saying and all the rules and regs now?
Well, very important because they have the big picture. So I especially pay attention to the CDC because they're national. But it's almost really important to pay attention to the local community because every community is a little bit different. So we pay attention a lot to what our local hospital is telling us.
Now, doctor, before the flu season, the flu, you were telling us about being careful with the elderly and those who are young. With this H1N1, it looks like it's young and teenagers, in high school, right?
It's very interesting that that's the case. I'm glad that it hasn't been hitting a lot of our older adults because older adults are much more vulnerable if they are to get sick. They're more likely to get dehydrated. They're more likely to take a long time to recover, and they're more vulnerable to people that are contagious.
Do you have any idea why?
Part of it is that because as we get older, our immune systems get a little bit more weaker. In terms of why, you're asking why the swine flu doesn't seem to be affecting older people. I'm not clear on that. One of the things that I worry about, though, is that because older adults don't show their symptoms as clearly as younger people, we may be missing some cases that aren't there.
All right, 2 weeks ago when this was all breaking, how did you feel? And now, 2 weeks afterward, where it seems to be calming down a little bit, how do you feel?
I'm still worried. I'm still worried because, again, older adults are more vulnerable. Their signs are more subtle. They're not going to develop that fever that most people are developing. They're maybe going to start acting a little bit differently, like they might not wake up as easily. They might get a little more tired. So it's still a little more subtle. So I think it's still important to be wary for older people.
Allergies, coughs, sneezes, colds.
Right.
They all think it's the worst, right? So
Yes.
how do you calm them down?
So the thing that I tell people to pay attention to for older adults is look for signs that they may be having any trouble breathing. The fever that we heard about is very important, but older adults often don't show a fever, so you can't really use that as a way to tell if someone's sick. So if someone has heart disease, stroke, emphysema, heart failure, if they have any change in their breathing, then I think it's not bad to go ahead and call your doctor or your primary care provider and say, hey, this is what's going on.
Are you getting a lot of questions, a lot of calls to the office about this?
A lot of questions, especially about how to prevent. One thing that I recommend, and I've been telling my patients, is to consider getting the pneumonia vaccine if they haven't gotten it. The
pneumonia vaccine?
Not the flu vaccine, because neither of them protect against the H1N1, but when people get influenza, they often get pneumonia on top of it. And so it's really important now to take stock and say, oh, have I gotten that vaccine? Let me get that now, because this is a good time.
All right, Dr. Arbaje, always great information. And
Thank
just for
you.
a treat, look who she brought in here. This is Dr. Arbaje's mom.
Hi,
okay, we'll get a shot of you. You stay right where you are, all right? Don't move. All right. First off, let's take a look at weather. Here's Justin Burke. Good morning, Justin.
Hey, good morning.